Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of CTLN Opinion Plus, where we have conversations about issues and concerns of the Latino community. Today, we are joined by Beth Hines, Executive Director of Community Partners in Action. And thank you, Beth, for joining us again.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for taking the time. So
I
we're
appreciate
having you a second time in this year, and that's wonderful because we want to kind of give updates on what's happening. Now, let's tell our new followers and viewers what's happening with the CPAs. Actually, I want to start off with a summary mission statement, a brief summary of CPA's mission statement and what programs and services it provides.
Sure, absolutely. Happy to share that information. So, and thank you for having me back. I'm humbled to be back. So CPA is one of the oldest organizations of its kind in the country. We were actually founded nearly 150 years ago. We champion criminal justice reform and advocate for preserving human dignity of those who are incarcerated and or involved in the criminal justice system in one way or the other. Our work is possible due to our partnerships with and support from individuals, our state government partners, funders, and our community-based organizations who partner with us to provide services to people in need. The mission of CPA is to build community by providing services that promote accountability, dignity, and restoration for people affected by the criminal justice system. We have a variety of programming. Our programming has changed over the years, as you might imagine. And currently, we are geographically located in Hartford, Waterbury, Hamden, and Manchester. We also have programming in statewide in the Connecticut prisons and in the 2 juvenile detention centers in Hartford and in Bridgeport. So CPA is often known for our reentry services, and we have many programs that fall under reentry service provision. And the focus of those programs is to provide pre and post release case management services to help people prepare for their release. Services also include employment support, assistance with securing housing, and basic needs. We also have a program funded by SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse, Mental Health, and Security and Services Administration. And that program enables us to serve people who are coming out of prison with significant substance abuse and mental health needs.
That's awesome.
Yes. And, a lot of people are coming out with those kinds of needs. And so the program is able to immediately connect them to services through a partnership that we have with Intercommunity. So it's great. It's a great partnership. We have recovery beds there.
Wow.
Many of the clients go into sober houses. So it's a program that is really needed for our population.
Okay. So I know you guys have new programs that was launched this summer, like your Reentry Backpack program. And I want to know if the new Waterbury Center was open. Can you let us know a little bit about that?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. So, the backpack program is actually something that's not new. We've been operating, we operate that program since we opened the Hartford Reentry Welcome Center. One of the things that has been so inspiring about the centers is the community coming together and helping us to provide the services for people coming home from prison. And so we have had people do hygiene drives and backpack drives, and we are so fortunate because those items are in demand and they can be very costly. And people have really come together. Like there was a school in West Hartford, St. Bridget, who did a hygiene drive for us. I mean, it was incredible the amount of hygiene products they gave us. The United Way in Waterbury did the same. And so, we have backpacks. We have a female backpack and male backpacks. And so somebody comes to the center, that is one of the first things that we give them. It also includes a cell phone with prepaid minutes.
So that's new.
New. The cell phone is new. And
there you go. That's what I meant. The cell phone.
The reason why the cell phone, I mean, it seems new, but it's not new anymore. But, when the pandemic hit, the Hartford Center, was still open because even more and more people were actually coming out of prison than before, right? And so, there was a lot of people discharging to homelessness, which was a significant crisis. And so we were able to partner with the Coalition to End Homelessness and Journey Home and Community Health Resources, also the Department of Correction, to really plan for people coming to the center. So if they were going to be homeless and we did not have a shelter bed because the shelters were closed,
Right.
or a place for them to stay, we actually were putting people up in hotel rooms because it was the only safe place to have them stay. But we couldn't have them in the hotel rooms without a cell phone. We needed to be able to connect with them, make sure they were okay, make sure they were stable, and then also for them to be able to connect with services. So that is definitely a new addition to the backpack.
Okay. So what about the Waterbury Center? Tell us a little bit about how's that going?
Well, it's been long in the making. I actually co-chair the Greater Waterbury Reentry Roundtable, and it's really been a dream of ours since the roundtable got back together several years ago to open a Waterbury Reentry Welcome Center modeled after the program that we have in Hartford. And so over the last 18 months, we have been just pounding the pavement, looking for funding, writing grants, talking to the mayor of Waterbury, and everybody pulled together. And we are now in a position where we have a program manager, and he is going to be able to start taking referrals from the Department of Correction within the next week or so. So we are thrilled to be able to offer the services that we have in Hartford also now in Waterbury. And the goal will be to scale that program up as we move over the next several, years even, and so, this program, people coming to the Waterbury area who need services and want to enroll in the center will be brought right to us by the Department of Correction. We'll have that warm handoff just like we have in Hartford. And Gordon, our program manager, will be waiting for them and welcoming them home. And also we'll know what their needs are when they come to us so that we can really hit the ground running. If they're in need of housing, the Coordinated Access Network would have already been contacted. The client would have been registered in that system. So really trying to avoid any type of crisis situation on somebody's day of release, because we know that it's already traumatic.
And it is very hard. So I also want to touch base when you said housing. In your experience, I know housing, employment, mental health, all of that, it's, necessary to kind of reestablish. But in your experience, what is the most significant, issue that ex-prisoners face when they come out of prison, life after prison? I mean, what would you say? And how is that going? I want to know if that's anything new, that can help, those person adapt to the new life.
Right. So, the stigma of the record is, one of the biggest obstacles facing the people that we serve. Over the last several years, homelessness has really peaked as being the most significant need of people coming home from prison, especially those who are discharging end of sentence, which means they have no probation or parole. So there's no officer to be able to connect them with state contracted services. And so our reentry welcome centers in Hartford and Waterbury focus on serving this particular subset of the population, the end of sentence population, who in many times for many people have absolutely nowhere to turn for help. So these are the people that are on the streets, that are in our food pantries, that are in our shelters, that are in our emergency rooms.
Yes.
And so, they are the people that need a lot of help. And so, that's the population that we focus on.
And you're doing a great job.
Thank you. It's not me, it's my staff. The staff here are incredible. We've had so many incredible staff and people who have been here for a very long time, so committed and passionate about the work and committed to the people that we serve.
Yes, that's important. And it's something necessary, to offer to those who are in need. And so I want to touch base on, from our last interview, you briefly talked about the justice reform. I want to know about the beautiful updates that happened, because I went to the website and I saw there's just a lot going on. Yes. But specifically, I want to talk about, or if you have anything additional to say, but I want to talk about the voting rights, because I believe that was one thing you mentioned and you wanted to follow up. So let us know what happened.
Good news, it passed.
Yay! So citizens on parole or, after prison, they can vote. That's
absolutely.
amazing.
So I have that right in front of me, and I'm going to actually read you the exact language so that there is no mistaking what happened. So in terms of voting rights, that was supported by CPA in the 2021 legislative session, and Senate Bill 1202 will restore voting rights to people with felony convictions who are on parole. This landmark legislation will restore the right to vote to as many as 4,000 people with past convictions. So really thrilled that passed.
Ooh, that's good. I'm getting goosebumps.
Right. And also what also passed, which was supported by CPA, it was clean slate. And so that is Senate Bill 1019. And this bill will automatically erase a criminal record after a defined period of time. The time period varies from people based on the type of conviction. Though the legislation does not go nearly far enough, in our opinion, it is a meaningful first step toward making Connecticut a true second chance state. And so what I mean by not going far enough is that in the clean slate legislation, there are a number of carve-outs. There's a number of exceptions of crimes that would not be eligible to an erasure. And so an example of that is a sex offense crime. Anybody convicted of a sex offense would currently, under the current Senate bill, would not qualify for an erasure. And there's a lot of other carve-outs. And so while this was incredible to get this passed, it's really a first step in terms of taking a look at this now as next session approaches. What else can we do? What else makes sense? Because sometimes things are rushed through, and so you want to, if you want to be able to now it's gone through, let's examine it, let's take a deep dive and look to see if there are any other convictions that can fall under this Senate.
Right. But it's still very helpful, it's like a clean slate. It's you're given the chance to start over, which is very difficult when you have records, so this is a first step. It's an amazing first step. So now let me go to our last question, because I think we're running out of time. What's next for Community Partners in Action? Anything new, anything you want to share, any new program, anything on the works they want to share with the audience?
Well, the Waterbury Center is brand new. We haven't even taken our first client yet. We are down there today with the United Way and Post University doing 3 days of caring, getting the center cleaned and spruced up and ready for people to come. We also recently opened 2 residential treatment programs for male youth. And so we have one in Hamden and also in Hartford. And so these programs are relatively new to the agency. There's a lot of work that goes on in the youth programs. It's a significant endeavor on the part of the agency. Whenever children are your responsibility, whenever anybody is your responsibility, but especially children, our future, you have to take that real serious. Need to make sure that the services that we are providing to the kids in our care are quality services, that the staff are trained, that they, are prepared to serve them, prepared to know what to do. So it's at this point, the agency is in a position of where we have just witnessed significant growth. And so my role as the executive director is to be sure that we manage that growth properly, and to ensure that the services that we do provide are of a quality nature.
That is great, especially for all those youth out there. So, well, that is all the time that we have, Beth. Thank you again for joining us and giving us all that great information, the updates, and thank you for all the work in your office, it's doing towards the community. So
thank you very much. I will pass on that thank you to our amazing staff.
Yes, okay.
Have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
So join us for another episode in 2 weeks. For more information about our discussion today, check out our web story on ctlatinonews.com. Follow us on Twitter at CT Latino News and Instagram at CT_Latino News. I'm Maricela Baez with CTLN Opinion Plus. See you next time.